as we discuss, as you would see, countdown to elections 2020 on March 2nd. 39 days. And already the political atmosphere is becoming increasingly charged. And tonight on Plain Talk, I have two guests who will give me their perspective on issues that have taken place over the past week. I'll ask them whether they think we are ready for elections or will be ready, and whether they believe that elections will be free and fair. My guests are Dr. Henry Jeffrey, former member of the PPPC. I think he's now a member of the ANAG, and United Guyana, and my friend, Mr. Gerald Pereira, Organization for the Victory of the People. Both these persons have a stake in these elections. Dr. Jeffrey is close today, as I said, to ANAG, and Gerald is leading the OVP in the regional elections for Region 4. Gentlemen, welcome to Plain Talk.
Thank you, Chris.
Let's start by a headline in today's papers. 91,000 addresses need to be amended on voters' lists. Does this cause you some concern? With 39 days to go, lists to be prepared and finalized, ballot papers printed.
Chris, let me put it like this. I saw that this morning and I immediately thought that the government, GCOM, has said that they will be ready for the 2nd of March.
Yes.
And I believe that they will be. These are problems, of course. If anything goes wrong on election day, these are the problems that will be raised in the aftermath of that kind of situation. But I have no doubt they will try their best and they will get there. I have no doubt. I mean, these are causes for concern. But I think they'll get there.
You think or you hope? Because
my hope must be...
You're talking about 91,000, yeah? That's not a small number.
Yes, but I mean, if so, what's the difference between my thinking and hoping? You want to take away the hope from my thinking?
Not at all. Well, I just want to know.
No.
How factually based this is, objective it is.
I think that they'll do it. Yes,
so
I think they'll do it.
What kind of time? Sorry, my apologies.
We have been here with umpteen numbers got to be sorted out and so on. The whole thing is in a mess. Let's make this quite clear. The old Charanda story, whether or not you should have house-to-house registration, the whole thing is in a mess.
Issues that have been cleared by the courts.
Yes,
those are no longer.
Yes, some of them have been cleared, some have not. But but they have gone through and they have muddled through and they're at this stage. This is not the stage where I believe that they would not muddle through on this one. The nature of what is taking place leave a lot of doubt for if somebody loses the election for them to claim all these things as the election. This was at fault, that was at fault. But I believe they'll get there.
91,000.
I am concerned about it, and I hope that everything. I don't know much about the technicalities and all the logistics and so, but I hope that everything will go smooth and that GCOM is able to deliver free and fair elections.
But given the sheer numbers and the small number of days that are left, given it depends on whether you agree with this, that these elections are highly charged. The atmosphere is already becoming toxic,
if
that's not too strong a word. Can we afford this kind of situation?
But Chris, you have it. It's not whether or not you can afford it. It is
It's
there.
already there.
It's 91,000 to change addresses. It might just be little things in address. It is there. It is not a question whether or not we can
Serious.
afford it. It is there. But it is best that it wasn't there. All of us know that. But it is there. You are confronted with it. And as I said, you've been confronted with a lot of things. Before we need to move forward, I believe that they will get it. I mean, maybe you could change all those addresses maybe in a week. It depends on what you are changing and if you have the other information to input.
Well, if you're talking about a week,
Yeah.
and even if you take a week as being 7 days, you're talking about 13,000 per day.
Yes.
That's not
That's how
any.
it works out.
And
Yeah.
how many persons would have to be doing this
13.
work?
13.
One person doing 13 a day?
No, 13 persons.
Mhm.
I thought you
Yeah.
said 13,000
Yes,
per day.
yes, and you see
I
one person
wasn't doing 1,000. It depends on the nature of the change.
Well, but
But I wouldn't-
here now, here,
Yeah.
here, even after you make a change, it's not somebody just doing it. Somebody has to check it. It's got to be verified.
Verified.
Yeah, but
This
you
is
got
this is-
another
Verification.
13 checkers. You don't make, you
so, so we got how many 13,000?
26
How many
26
13,000 you
people
have in
we
the
have.
building? Let's get this
Yeah.
clear. How many 13,000
Yes,
people
but-
can be accommodated in the
Well,
GCOM building?
why they have to be in the GCOM?
So where they gonna
building?
be? Where they
can
gonna be?
What other arrangement? Chris, this thing would be done. I mean, I don't want to get in this thing that it can't be done.
I
It
know.
would- You are giving me some numbers that it appears to me that if you know what I'm talking, we get 42 people and change them.
But where you get them from, Henry?
You
These
can
people,
find
you don't just walk on the
No,
street.
you're going to find
Oh,
them.
come on.
Yes,
No.
you're going to find people. Yes, it's going to be done. I can see no reason why.
You
not.
can see this being done in 7 days. 13,000
It's-
being checked.
It's a Herculean
Yes.
task.
Yeah.
It's a huge
Yes, that's
task, and as I said, I don't know much about that, but
No.
it's a lot of work, and
Yes.
I do hope that it is done within that time frame.
Because you know ballot papers got to go. It's based
Of course.
on
Yeah.
regions and
Yeah.
polling
Yeah.
centers.
Yeah.
So addresses form a critical part.
Yeah, of course,
Of
I'm
the entire legal
concerned.
process.
I'm concerned.
Does it surprise you though at this stage that this information has
Nothing
come out?
surprises me with this. A lot of things
No.
come out. This doesn't surprise me. It's unfortunate.
Nothing,
that
to be
it's
honest with
there.
you, nothing that
don't
happens
surprise me.
in this land.
But you know
surprises
this
me.
process
Nothing,
has been a
nothing.
mess.
Nothing.
You know
I've
this.
never known this. I have
No,
been
this one.
associated. Henry, I was very active in the 1992
Yeah,
elections,
yeah.
and I've never seen anything like. I've never heard of anything like this. This is unprecedented.
But
After all the preparation, think about it. How long the no confidence motion took place in 2018. This should not have happened.
Well, the minute you had a no confidence motion, GCOM should have been in gear.
That's correct.
It happens all part of the world where you have elections and they have countries with millions of people. You get a no confidence motion passed, and
but you are
the
you are-
Electoral
you are-
Elections Commission
but-
is in gear the next day.
But when I mentioned to you just now that you have seen what has happened, I wasn't talking about that at the other election period. I was saying this same one, you see the confusion that has happened. This same one. So why would you wake up in the morning? You know, I saw that. I don't even think I read it, the article. I just says one or the other
But, you know,
confusion.
A national commentator of your
No,
stature.
no, why would I read it? It is absurd. I saw the numbers. I said these things. I mean, why my reading it would not, my reading that would not help them or hinder anything they
Well,
have
it will
to do.
inform, at least inform you, because
inform me.
you're one of Gar's better political brains
But
and writers.
it informed me that we are continuing along this modeling situation in preparation for this election.
What's the consequence of not getting this right?
Well, that could create it could create tremendous problems. It could lead to social unrest,
But
political protests across the country and so.
what do you mean?
Because
by not
if
getting
that
it
happens,
right?
what?
What does it mean? Are you saying that they leave the name on the list and then
Because
people
you
go
have-
there and they can't
There's a
get the ballot
mismatch
box?
between people's names and their addresses. That
Right.
is what we mean.
But yeah, no. When I ask you that, what I'm saying, when you say to me they don't get it right, are you saying that those names are left as they are? Well, then it will cause confusion for $91,000. People for 91,000 people. But if
I'm
you
sure you're
mean-
not thinking of
but
money in
if you-
this.
but if you mean, if they try to do it, they claim it's done, and then you have problems on the day because it's not being done properly. Well, then you will get similar. Well, maybe not the depth of problem because they might have gotten some right. The amount they have right would be hopefully a lot, and the situation would not be as severe as if they left 91,000. That's all I can say.
You appreciate this could easily account for 20% of the voting population on that day.
Yeah.
20%.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
If you do the math, yeah, you're right.
Yes, you could account for it. But
Yeah,
as I
that's
say, they
correct.
have time, they will try, they will get it done. I have no good reason to believe they wouldn't have gotten all sort of things done. I mean, I am. My concern is not so whether or not they'll get that done. I think they'll get that done for the election. My concern is that these things, you know, what are the criteria now for determining if an election was rigged? It's not whether or not you rig it. It's whether or not the auditors such as yourself can verify that it was not. And all these things add up to for a criteria that maybe you can't, because look how many things went wrong. You see what happened to Morales? You see what happened to Morales and those 91 auditors they sent on there whatsoever? They didn't come out by saying Morales.
But Morales didn't rig no election.
Well, I don't know whether or not he rigged
No.
election.
No,
All
he
they
didn't.
said was they can't verify that it was not because of the confusion and what occurred. And
That's why I'm asking you
Well,
about the
yeah.
consequences. When it's 20%,
that's why I told
that's
you.
a huge. This is not 2 or 3%, which can affect the majority, as we've seen.
But that's why I said to you that it depends. I am seeing this after the election, what the consequences of these kind of things. Not only that.
Well, that was my question just now. That was my follow-up question. What do you think the consequences of this
Well,
for not getting it right?
If there is quarrel after the election and people make a lot of noise, these same thing going to come up as part of the problem. Not only this, the 6,000 people apparently who, what was it with them? Their names are on the list. I think all these things going to come up as part of the problem.
What's your view, chap? You're a participant.
You know, my position is this, for example. I have always wondered why, for example, there are commissioners on the GCOM commissioners must be drawn from the two major parties. We can't have an arrangement where the commissioners are independent.
Who are these independent people?
Well, when I
You
said
can't
no,
even find an independent,
Okay.
one independent chairman.
well, when I say independent people, but you know why it's important, right? It's something that we must address. Why should the election commission be made up
Well,
of
but that
representatives
is listen.
of
we-
the two?
Well,
But we need to revisit the
we
question.
know that, but that this series of program is leading up to elections under the existing
so, well,
rules.
when you
Under
get-
the existing
well,
rules.
when what play out, when this type of thing play out, it's gonna always end up with the two of them.
You believe that the Carter Center and everybody has come, and if they could have get an agreement with the parties that you're going to have so-called independent people, that it wouldn't have happened. That is the standard way of doing this. This is the idealized type. They couldn't have an agreement that that's how it should happen. This is what the poor people could have worked and come up with.
This was supposed to have been a temporary
Yeah,
arrangement.
but it is temporary until Guyana politics change.
And when that will happen?
Whensoever the two parties settle down and start running this country
let's
together.
just, no, Henry, if temporary, extends over 6 election cycles.
Yeah.
And what? 92 to 2020.
That's
Yeah.
permanent.
That's 28 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's not temporary
No,
by
that seems
any
like
measure.
they're permanent.
language.
Well, you see, this is just the point. We know the ideal type. The ideal type in most countries to get an independent with independent people, right? When they come and say temporary, is either they read our situation, that no temporary in a short term, what we know as temporary is possible. It's a misreading our situation.
They did not read that. That we accepted that. We said
No.
it wasn't just handed down. Henry, I was
Like
there
so
in
many
92.
Yeah, so was I.
I know I
So-
concede to your
yeah.
seniority.
So was I.
Yeah, I know that.
Yeah, so was I.
All right, let's go on. I want to raise this issue.
Yeah.
GCOM oust Schuman from elections over dual citizenship.
Yeah, well.
This bogey has come back. This time to haunt not only the Liberty and Justice Party,
Yeah.
but 1 week ago, to some amount of fanfare,
Yeah.
the party, Liberty and Justice,
Uh-huh.
along with ANOG
Mhm.
and the New Movement,
Mhm.
took what many saw as an uplifting move,
Okay.
joining their list.
Okay.
How could we get into a situation where a leading person in politics makes a mistake like this? Or is this correct? Is GCOM correct?
Well,
Well, I mean, go on.
how
Henry.
about you?
I mean, it's clear, right? It's there in the Constitution that you cannot run at that level and be a dual citizen. And for years in this country, we had people sitting in Parliament, right? Opposition figures and ministers with dual citizenship and violating that
Yes.
part of the Constitution, knowing that they knew it among themselves. They know this one had dual citizenship and this one had, but it's still when you had the no confidence vote, and then APNU AFC decide to say, well, Sharon is a dual citizenship, and then it backfired
It was the most idiotic thing.
because you have people in your own party and so who have dual citizenship, and then in the PPP too,
Yes.
right? And this is the thing about it, and this is what the people in this country need to know. Here you have people who refuse to give up the citizenship, the citizenship for the United States or what, right? And they want to lead this country. Good. And the reason for keeping the citizenship, they'll come up with all sorts of explanations and excuses like medical attention and all of that. Well, if the people of this country are prepared to let the leaders, right, when they're taken ill or so, to fly out to Ireland, to Cuba, to Trinidad, United Kingdom, or USA, and when the masses of people are ill, they can't go to Balwansing or to Woodland, they have to go to the Georgetown Hospital. Then, either consciously or subconsciously, you are saying that the leadership are people, they're superior and you're inferior. And we got to put an end to this nonsense. And this is the type of bourgeois, elitist
Yeah, so you're
politics.
talking about 155. Let me
But these people are contemptuous of the masses of people of this country.
No. This is nothing to do with masses. Let's get it right.
Yeah, but
This is about the constitutional provision. This is not a mass.
Yeah, but
let's be
that's
fair.
contemptuous,
Henry,
you
come on.
know.
But
Henry,
come on.
But you
Just
know
fair,
Oh, let you have to
fair.
say. Let Henry get to say, please.
Mr. Schuman, from what I understood, went to the GCOM. He has done everything he believed that he needed to do to renounce his citizenship.
Yes.
Good. He believed everything was all right. And he believed that under some dispensation he could have gone to GCOM and they would have accepted his thing. That he has done all he can do. The election is turned up, but he has done is just for the Americans now to accept or whatsoever, Canadians to accept and so on. And therefore the question was whether or not he must be thrown out because he doesn't have an acceptance from them. That's what because on the day I said, did Schuman give you up his citizenship? They said, yeah. Some of my people say, yes, he did, but they're responding to him, and GCOM seemed to have accepted his explanation and so on. Now, if that was true, if Mr. Schuman did do all these things he said he did, it is, and he did not get through, perhaps immediately, GCOM should have said to Mr. Schuman, please, sir, until you have a letter that from the thing that they have now accepted that you have renounced your citizen or whatsoever letter you need,
Yes.
well, you couldn't be on the list. But it's not like Mr. Schuman went there not knowing there was a problematic. He ain't tried to hide it. You understand me? He knows what problematic. Somebody could have said, well, sir, sorry, you can't be there because until you get a document saying you'll give me up your citizenship, that is you have to not be on the list. So, I mean, I that's how I see this situation. Now that he's not on the list, that doesn't mean he's gone anywhere. That doesn't mean been with party. That doesn't mean he's not party leader. That doesn't mean any of those things. Because no rule says that. But he finds somebody else to be a president.
Chris, when did this thing about dual citizenship came up? You remember? Some time ago.
Yeah.
Right?
That thing has been in the Constitution.
Correct.
Pre-independence Constitution.
Yeah.
There's no question.
But there's another
So what I'm saying, I'm not
argument
concerned about
altogether.
whether Mr. Schuman is sincere or not. I'm saying that even as he pointed out, it's been in the Constitution for years. But ever since the NCN, right? At the NCM, the no confidence motion, you would have known that there was a whole debate about that. I came in this program here with Chris and we dealt with that, we addressed that. So you had some time to,
Well, yes,
you know,
and it's during that time he did what he was
to
doing.
make yourself right.
But it's not that time he spent
Well,
doing
it's
what he
okay,
was
it's not
doing,
that
and
it's-
it's during that time he spent what he's doing. And you're saying that a lot of laws of everybody in Parliament knew that. I was there. I'm not a dual citizen. I never wanted another citizenship. But I could get one if I could have gotten one if I want one. I never did so. The point
never
is
did
that
either.
wait now. The point is though that there are many rules in this country that are broken, but that are not utilized. And you know, you can ask what the legal principle is dissuitude or one of those
Dissuitude,
rules.
yes, yes.
That if you
You
have
fell
not-
into disuse.
Yes, you
That's
fell
it,
into
that's right.
disuse. Indeed, they should have
Within-
argued that before the Chief Justice and said, since this thing has not been used, since it put in place, it's no longer, you can't just enforce it. It's fell into disuse, and therefore you got to give people good time to do things. That should have been their argument, but I think they were a bit confused with the no confidence motion and all that. But I am telling you that these things happen. It has happened. We have, as far as I'm concerned, I believe that people dual citizenship shouldn't be a big problem. That, in my view. I mean, other people feel differently, and we'll have to deal with that in some sort of constitutional thing and deal with it properly. But I am finding it difficult to make a big fuss about what has happened to Schuman at the point of time. GCOM or whosoever should have said we are not accepting anything like that until we see a letter. Because he must have been discussing with them. Until we see a letter from you, chap, your thing is... You know, you're not going to be on this list. I don't know, he would even turn up. It was make so clear to him.
My view is if Schuman had relinquished and submitted his passport to the Canadian authorities, he would have done everything and come back to Ghana. He would have done everything.
Right.
Because
Good
there's a
point.
famous case, the Darrell Vaz case,
Okay.
in Jamaica.
Douglas.
Darrell Vaz.
Darrell Vaz, yeah,
Darrell
yeah.
Vaz. What?
He was a minister, I think.
Yes, he was
Yeah,
a minister.
correct.
What condemned him is that he presented
That's right. I
his
remember.
U.S. passport.
Good.
Now, if Lennox
I remember the case.
had submitted it,
Yeah.
I have renounced.
Yeah.
So that I would have thought could have been a very strong argument.
Yeah.
But did he, or did he continue to use his Canadian passport?
I thought when you renounce, you have said the passport, you don't have to do that. I mean, I don't know. I mean, just asking. But, I don't know if he used it. I don't want to speculate.
Yes, we
about
don't
that.
know. Does it hurt this joinder?
Not so far as I can see. As I said, his party is still there. We join with the party now at Lennox.
But the leader, you know,
But he's not
we have a
there.
leadership culture, Henry. You know.
You really?
We don't have a leadership culture in Ghana in politics.
You
Yes,
know
I
many
do.
people
This,
sit at the
this
back
is the only
and
man who
run.
does come on this. You invite OVP and you only see Gerald Pereira.
Well, no, well, but you know many people run politics from the back, sit down there and run it. Man,
Is
what's
that
the
is that
matter?
happening in
Not at all, not at all.
You're not running it
Chris
from.
Me?
invites the leaders of the political parties to come to this.
Really?
Yeah.
Not at all.
He
You
invites
don't
the
have to
leaders.
be known, but to lead as such. He is a leader in his party. He will remain a leader. He might remain the leader of his party. He's just not the presidential candidate. That's
No.
a difference to that.
Has GCOM helped the situation? I heard, jail 1 year, jail time and that
Yeah,
type of
yeah,
thing.
yeah.
Shouldn't GCOM have formally notified Mr. Schuman of this situation?
I'm there, he knows he's
Well,
I don't know.
Apparently not. I have a message. I was in touch with him today, and he said we are waiting an official communication from GCOM. Now that
But how he knows that he's after this? He's
it's,
he was
it's
in the press.
It's in the
So
press,
okay, so GCOM has not written him.
and that was at 2:01 p.m. today.
Well, you see the 91,000.
Well,
that only
you wonder if his clowns running GCOM.
Let me know go that far.
No, I'm going.
Yes, I know you can go, but I mean.
I ain't looking for votes, you know.
But
No, but this is crazy.
yeah.
When did they not know this?
Well, I mean, but I wouldn't go that far. But yes, it's ridiculous. How can you get something in the press? I don't know how it got in the press. It was leaked, but by now you should have written him and said something.
They should have done it because when was nomination day? It was
Last
2
week.
Fridays
Fridays
ago.
ago,
2
yeah.
Fridays ago.
Yeah,
They- and this was a high-profile man.
yeah, yeah. Okay.
This is the most incredible level of incompetence that one can display.
Yes.
But we hopefully they can fix the 91 million. 91
How much
$91,000.
the nomination day? You know, we had,
Go on.
No.
no, it's a nomination day.
Yes.
You count, you saw of course, the large turnouts was with APNO and the PPP.
Yes.
And then I think Change Guyana.
Uh-huh.
We had the 4th largest turnout.
Yeah. Turnout
Yes.
is not ballots in the box.
I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that. I wish you well.
No.
We had
I think that way should be neutral. I think that way should be
we had
neutral.
one thing at the region.
Why is he telling me he had a
We
turn?
gotta
He
shoot
gonna
well.
get a turn amount of votes so that
Don't
these
worry,
people.
don't worry.
But you didn't perform very well the last election. You
We-
didn't get any representation.
No,
we
at
didn't.
all.
But here this.
That's the purpose of it.
We were the last to enter, right?
Okay.
We didn't. If you look at the numbers, we got 500 and something votes in region. We just contested region 4 and we got 500 and something
Okay.
votes last one. We ran at the regional level. We got the most votes after at the regional level. APNO, PPP, and I think the URP beat us at the regional level by just a couple votes. So we
Okay.
beat the UF and all those parties at the regional level. So we
But when you
did.
say all those parties, no, don't
There
say
was
what
There was some other.
Yes,
You had the Healing the Nation Theocracy Party, the National Independent Party. So, but listen, Chris, listen to this. This is the difference, right? People are stuck with a set of political parties who only see the value in them as a statistical number for give them the vote. We, as I told you before, we are about telling people.
All right, we heard that. The viewers have heard that.
But we are going to do good in this regional election.
sh-
We are going to do good. We're going to do good.
I hope you do as well as you're
We
excited.
are going to do good. We're going to do good. We're the last line of defense in this country for a lot of the underprivileged, the marginalized, and the poor.
Okay.
OVP and OVP, yes, we'll
Yeah.
get to that. We'll get to that.
But you know, you say the politicians are using the. It's not the politicians vote for the people; it's the people vote for the politicians.
Yeah, well, there's that ideological, Henry, know that there's an ideological edge. You get people to believe, right? That's what you do. You get the masses of people to believe.
So the
that
masses
your
are-
interests and their own, there's a convergence,
So-
and they come together.
So the masses
we gotta
can't see
get-
this after
Well-
how many elections?
Well, people are getting there. There are people who are getting there.
No,
There-
with 500 votes, they're not getting there with that.
No, well,
Henry,
okay.
you've done a lot of political
Yeah.
theory and writing.
I think that
How do you explain that kind of thing?
I explain that people know what is in their interest, and it is best you coordinate with their interest rather than try to bucket, because the vast majority of these people in this country, Indians believe it.
See, that is what is
Let him
going
finish, please. Let him finish,
Indians
please.
believe that following the PPP is in their best interest. They have shown you this for 60 years, and so they have always been small party yourself and myself, and so. So effectively, what our analysis should say, we should stop and say, instead of believing that we're gonna outmax these people at the election, guys, it's not gonna happen.
What are the people's interests?
What are the people's interests? Protection. These parties are armies to protect them against the other side. You ain't got no army, so you can't. You ain't got no child. So these things are armies.
You know,
we have to. General,
go on.
I am saying to you,
Go on.
what you have to do is to show these two armies that don't have to fight. That Guyana is there. You can't bestride
You
his
see, that
army.
is so-called
You know.
pragmatic and the opportunistic type of politics, yeah, Henry.
No.
Right?
What's
That's
opportunistic
pandering.
about
Yeah.
it?
No.
Wait,
It's an unprincipled politics. It's a politics, yes, it's
Oh,
unprincipled.
No,
oh,
he's
Yeah.
merely analyzing.
No, no, yeah,
He has a right to. Go on.
yes, all
Yeah,
I'm
right.
saying to you is that here these two armies, they are large, huge, and they are fighting. You got to say to them, hey, chaps, you people give them the cake out here, you chaps don't
They're
have to
fighting,
fight.
and who are the casualties of the war?
No, man. Some of them, look what happened to some. They got to give up their dual citizenship now.
Yeah, but who are the
They're killing
casualties?
themselves in
Who are
this
the
war.
casualties?
Yeah, no, but the
Who are the casualties?
The Guyanese people on all sides. You perhaps, because your light come off all the time. Me too. So all of us are casualties. But you got to accept that half this country believe that they must protect themselves against the other half. If that's the case, our job, your job, my job, who understand better, shut up. Why you two people need not fight.
Yeah, well, I will be a casualty because I do identify with the people. I identify with the masses in this country. I identify with the masses and interests in people.
You can work together. You two people can work together and bring Guyana out of this and make all of us happy. So my fighting you is not to overthrow. It cannot happen in just anyway just now. My fighting you is essentially to say I must be in a position to force you to come together and work in the interest of Guyanese. Look, I don't can't win no election. I will not win any elections. I will not fool anybody they're going to win any election. If the people want to be fooled about it, let them fool themselves. The truth is, and when they start with this, are we going to win? You can promise we alike because there's no chance you win it.
Well, I'll tell you.
But
After listening to you,
Yeah.
I would advise the masses of Guyanese people in this country, the marginalized, the dispossessed, the pump attendants, the laborers, the underpaid, the security guards who getting next to nothing money, not to give the vote to Anog.
You haven't told me why.
No, because
but
you
why?
just said why.
Why?
My position is this.
I don't want your
I will
position.
also, no.
Tell us
I am
why
telling
you
you
just
why.
told us.
I'm
No,
telling you
no,
why.
let me-
Because you are committed to maintaining the same old system. Because you're stuck in this old
same
system.
You have not heard what I
No,
said.
that's what
I'm
he said.
listening.
No,
I'm
that's not what
listening.
he
I'm
said.
hearing him. I'm hearing him.
If you are
Your
wrong,
role
you
should
can
be
say
to
that.
try to bridge the divide.
But
I think that's the point.
Yes,
This
yeah.
is
making.
that approach, my approach, bridge the divide between what? Bridge the divide with what?
Between the two large ethnic groups in this country. That should be a primary
But
task in this case.
we are not into promoting it. That's a given. We are towards.
Then how you want to get there? Show me how.
No. Both. Listen to this. We have in this country what is called garrison politics, and it is based around ethnic mobilization.
But that is not what.
I agree with that. But it's based around mobilizing your
So how do you
constituencies
break-
How
around
you gonna
ethnic
do?
identity.
What you plan to
Because,
do?
well, it's not. But this thing takes time. This thing takes time. But it takes time.
Well, what I want to
Right?
do don't take so much
It takes
time.
a lot of work, but those who are genuinely struggle to correct these contradictions and imbalances we have in this society, we have to come up against not only the two leviathans, but we have to come up against others who are reinforcing it.
Well, I do want to make this point, though, Gerald. You said you're appealing people not to vote. I think I'd rather you take a position as to why they should vote you. And in any case,
Yes.
the purpose of this is not to promote your party, but to discuss the role.
Fair enough,
of the
true.
election.
All I'm saying, we are not contesting the regional level for a number of
No,
reasons.
you are contesting.
No, sorry. No, the presidential, the general
Yes.
elections, the regional level.
Yeah.
First of all, we have a lot of support. We have a large membership. We do not have the financial resources
Okay.
to go into all the regions and contest all of that, right?
How do you know you have this large support?
No, I'm saying that we have a
got
large
500
membership.
votes
I'm
the
talking
last
about
time.
membership.
You got more than 500
That-
members?
Yeah, we have more than 500 members.
So some of them didn't vote for you last time.
No.
Oh.
No.
Then how much
That was
members you had there?
2015.
How much members you had there?
That was 2015.
How
That
much
was 2015.
members?
At the time when we contested, we had a membership of about 100 or something,
Okay.
right?
Which was, and he got more than.
Good. But this is 2020.
Yes,
This is 2020.
okay.
All right. There's a thing called growth and development, Henry.
Okay.
It's a law of
Okay.
life, a principle of life.
No, come on. You don't have to consent.
No,
you don't have to be pacified. Come on.
No. Go on.
But what I'm saying is, our approach, looking at this, right, at the political landscape, the political architecture of this country, I make no apologies. I don't want to see the return of the PPP in this country. I don't want to see the PPP return in this country.
Even if it's through a democratic process?
Well, if they win it through the democratic process, I can't do anything about that. But that does not take away from how I feel. I'm just expressing about that. With all we have serious ideological and political differences with the ruling coalition, right? About many things, including the foreign policy, the giveaway of our natural resources, our oil and everything for nothing. I come and I sit in the tradition of Fobbsborn, and we come, the OVP, right? The OVP is the rightful heirs and inheritors of the legacy of the legacy and vision of Fobbsborn.
Well, then you should be in the PNC, shouldn't
No, the PNC is not. The PNC is not inborn. This is not born on PNC. No, they got some people don't even want to hear about PNC. They prefer to talk about.
Gerald, you have told us. You told us all of this.
Our position is give the presidential vote at the top to APNO FC, but do not give them everything. Give us the region. If we win the region, if we win Region 4, we will shake this region up.
How are you going to win Region 4? Come on, be realistic.
I'm saying if we win.
But you know that
If wishes were horses.
All right, okay. I never said we wish. I said we are working.
You
for that.
wish.
I'm not saying that we are going to win it. I said if we win.
All right, let's get to work.
All right, Judge, you really ain't got no plan to do nothing. You can let these two people run fighting each other. You are going to. Yes, I have. I just told you about my plan. What I'm saying to you, you would allow these people to run fighting with each other for the next 60 years while you try to win your vote.
Henry.
But let me tell you what my plan. Why? Wait. Let me ask you. Now you just talking about growth and development. I mean, like you're contradicting yourself.
No, that's not contradicting.
Let me explain.
I'm not contradicting myself. I'm not contradicting myself.
But let me explain my plan to you. Would you like to hear my plan?
Yes.
Good. My plan says.
Yes.
My plan says, if Arnold, remember what is my thing? My thing is saying that we got to get these people to work together, both the PNC and the PPP, in the interest of the people of Guyana. Good? They are not doing so. Our plan is that if we get sufficient votes, and we think we could, three seats or so, to keep them away from winning both the parliament and the executive, then we are going to do one thing, our strategy, and this is very. They will come to us, and no doubt, because we're the smaller party, they believe they can take advantage. They got to pass laws, they got to pass a budget. So they're going to come to us and say, we would like your support to pass the laws and the budget. They will have to.
Henry,
and we will say to them, under one circumstance,
you must do this or that.
You will now commit, and we will and I was supposed to be based upon that, to have shared governance within 18 months, constitutional reform for shared governance within 18 months. And we have a process of saying this shared governance formulation we have, which I'm certain you must have seen, is one that nobody loses. It's we don't have a presidency, we don't have a president, we have a presidency, much like in Switzerland. We said two people from the from the party that wins the majority, two
All
from
right,
the
I want to move on. Please, I want to move on.
Yeah.
All right, go ahead.
And
Because both of you have stated
I
want to
am
raise
saying
this
to
up.
you that in my mind is a we don't have to win election to do that. We don't think we'll win election, but with 3 seats we can make a tremendous contribution to change the political framework.
As
in
we
this
talk,
country.
because I do believe one of the big issues over the past years, this question of how sugar has been dealt with.
Okay.
When the APNU plus CFC government won elections and came into government, they had this commission of inquiry. Clive Thomas and one former MP, PNC. Now we are told Moses Nagamuto at a whim rally says the closed sugar estates were absolutely useless. That was not the finding of the Commission of Inquiry.
All is
The
not.
cabinet accepted it. How do we get this kind of thing from politicians?
Because just what I just told you, he doesn't have to tell the truth. The same people gonna go and vote for his coalition, not for because of Moses. Most of the numbers he give you they're around 50 cents and 20 cents. They're incorrect from at least from my. But the point is
But
that
he was
if
your
I'm not-
colleague in the PPPC.
He was my colleague, of course. So what? I have a lot of colleagues. I mean, some of them talk nonsense, some of them make sense. You make sense.
No. I'm not a politician.
John, I'm not talking
I
about
just could see why we are in this.
No, General. Stop being your nose, man. No. Talk about this statement because I
First of
made
all, I know, Nagamuto, what Nagamuto said, right? Of course, it's dishonest.
Of course it is.
It's dishonest. And I say this on this program. Nagamuto is a person I've never taken seriously. Right?
the man is prime
In terms
minister of your country.
No, I don't take him seriously. And that is dishonesty, that statement that he made.
Yeah, but most people know.
What is
that,
dishonest
but
about it?
Well, you had that report. Then you knew about it. There was that report that came out. I think you mentioned it. You had it here in the last 2 programs ago with one of your guests. I'm trying to remember who. And you raised it. This is the second time.
I think it's fundamentally dishonest because there's nobody that I know of that has not said that the sugar was in a serious problem.
Yes.
But everybody's saying that it's unconscionable to go one morning and wake up and knock off, tell 7,000 people take a walk.
Is that unprecedented in Ghana?
Yes, I don't know any time. I remember one time Bonham was trying to get rid of some public service. What did he call it? Redeployment or something. But there wasn't so many people involved. What I'm saying to you, you go Mauritius, you go right down there to Peru. They have reformed the sugar industry, but you do it over time.
Enough work, because they were knocking off work.
He wasn't. He was knocking
there
off.
were some people. They were
Come on.
Yeah.
You remember Denny and he said, when he said, hold on, let me give you this quotation. At Christian Labour College, Denny, then Minister
Kenneth
was
Denny.
Education, Kenneth Denny, making a joke of this thing. He said, we retrench, but what do we mean by retrench? We lift them out of the trenches. You talk about dishonesty, but no,
not bad, Daddy. They were knocking off people.
All right,
the public service was built. But that's not. Let me talk seriously about this.
But there was
the idea is to reform the sugar industry, and if you're going to do it, the countries that have done this successfully Mauritius, I think it's Peru and one of those countries, they have done it successfully over time. You take time to do this. You have to get rid of people, but you also have to have a plan as to whether or not you're going to be sugar, or you'll have a sugar cane industry doing other things with sugar. You have to, the European Development Bank said that Guyana, well, it was then back then in around 2008. But the European Development Bank said in around 2008 that Guyana, Belize, and Jamaica are the only country can stay in sugar. Maybe not at the same level. They are
that came out in the ACP,
right,
in an ACP report.
Well, it also there because the bank was there. So I'm saying to you that is dishonest. Nobody's saying that the sugar industry didn't need you, but everybody's saying, even people in his own party, even people in the WPA, saying that what they did was unconscionable. You have to take time, sit down, and reform the sugar industry. Even if you have to subsidize them. Yes, but even if you have to subsidize them in a point of time.
Let's move on. Within the past week as well, we had the MV Yanis, the fuel boat, giving Exxon the first lift.
Oh, yeah, yes.
1 million barrels of oil. The publicity seemed to have been very politically driven rather than national. We are now an oil producer. We probably go to the pump next week or next month. It means nothing.
Correct.
How would you rate this government in terms of its performance in the petroleum sector?
How you going to rate the government? I mean, you know these things. That's like G common in 91. So that's how bad it was. I mean, you're getting 2%. You're saying get 51%, you're going to get 50% profit. Oh, my, been in this country for 15 years, I never made a profit. So, I mean, you tax where you can see. You don't tax where you can't see profit. This child development theory, tax we can see. You can see royalty. They do 100 barrels, you want 12.
You know,
it's not,
I don't know. I've been
that.
looking at some of those full page ads in the Stabroken Kaichur, right? Where I think there was one about Nigeria and the oil in Nigeria and how much Nigeria being producing oil. So I don't know who's placing those ads, but they're very informative and I think they're good. You remember at the Third Gulf War when the United States invaded and got rid of Saddam Hussein. The time they asked the Nigerians, the Americans stepped in and asked Nigeria to up oil production to fill the fall that Iraq was supplying. Yeah. Nigeria made billions of dollars within the period, within that time frame in oil, exporting oil and so. And they made tremendous money. Where did this money go? You go to England and there's certain neighbors.
Remember my question.
I'm calling it out.
You're always operating against the clock.
No. What I'm saying is, this here generally, right? I am opposed and I condemn it. The giveaway of I believe the contract is ridiculous. It's not only immoral, right? It's outrageous and it's unpatriotic. And I think,
why are you all not, including Anna? Why aren't you advocating the renegotiating of this contract?
Because it's not in our, it isn't, it's lopsided. It's in favor of.
No, that's what I'm asking. Yeah. The question is, why are you not advocating its renegotiation?
We advocate. I have said it on your program. I've said it in letters. If you check the Kaichur News, the Stabrook News, I've written letters.
And
condemning this contract.
Your party is committed.
Right? Yes, committed to having another look at these contracts.
Have you read Peeping Tom today? Have you read Peeping Tom today?
No, I didn't.
Well, Peeping Tom said of all the parties on the political landscape today, he said the big ones to the small one, none of them have defined themselves ideologically, none, with the exception of one party that has attacked, have condemned the neoliberal politics. And
That's
that
you.
party is only running at the regional level.
So we know
Yeah,
it's you.
but, yeah,
We know
but
it's you.
what point you making?
But what I'm saying is, all of these parties and the masses of people need to know they're only. Henry is saying that they will renegotiate, but if they get in there
But
tomorrow, they will
surely
they will
then,
not.
we're not talking about
But you will not.
we're not talking entirely about it. If you are so strong
You
on
need-
this, why didn't you contest the elections at the national level?
Because to contest, Chris, we are realistic. We are realistic. Listen. To contest at the
Surprise,
national
surprise.
level, you have to have money. We don't have big backers. We don't have the finances, the financial resources to contest at that level. We prefer to focus, because we are not primarily an electoral outfit. We are a movement for people's empowerment and raising people's consciousness. Elections is just one outfit. ANOC is just one area that we contest. It's just one. ANOC is an electoral outfit. It's not a movement for social transformation.
All right, we're going to move on.
But why one precludes the other?
That's your
Why
traditional political party.
But how you know?
And
I
tradition-
just told you.
You know,
but
when you
have
speak
to-
about power sharing, when they speak about power sharing, you know this. It's about sharing power among the political elites, right? You know, Chris, that the world today, right? People are fighting to create new spaces. People are trying to, like you see it all over. Even Mayor Motley is doing it now in Barbados, where they're setting up people's assemblies to have the people participate, to have a say, right? Get the people involved in some level of decision
I don't
making.
know how you know one concludes the other.
That's-
How you know what we are into?
But when you look,
But how you know?
I know you
When you
come
read-
the classical liberal
How you know?
democratic tradition.
Well, how
of
you
vote for
know?
us and we know what
But
is
I don't
best for you.
understand that. I am saying
No,
to
but the
you right
question is,
now,
if
it's
you
the
don't-
liberal democratic process that essentially got you talking right
Yeah,
here.
but
It got you
there are
talking
many
right there.
things
Without
about it
you
that
would
is
be in
it's in
prison.
crisis. It's in
I know
crisis.
that. Of course it's in crisis.
and it's becoming. Listen.
And everybody's responding.
You know,
And everybody
institutions-
are responding to it.
institutions come
Calm down.
here at a particular time
You
in
are-
history.
But you are talking
And
separate.
General,
You are some-
Please,
Okay.
please.
Yeah.
All right.
We got it.
Yeah. Okay. We get it. All right.
Well, we often hear one of the virtues of liberal democracy.
Yeah, of course.
It helps to correct itself. There's no question it doesn't have a lot of problems. I think the same can possibly be said of socialism. But you know where we've gone since the 80s. Now, the one big issue of the week is this statement made by the PNC chairman, Paula Lawrence, urging supporters to be vigilant at the place of poll to get together outside the voting places, and essentially that then our nice strong men will be mobilized to follow that ballot box for it to go into that container and have the APNU AFC padlock and chain placed on that to protect our ballots. Does she understand the system that once the vote is posted up, once the statement of poll is posted up, the rest is pure history? Even the court is hesitant. You will recall when we had a 97, when we had Cross came. You can't go tampering with the boxes after. You can't open them.
But but listen. What?
So
what
from a
she's
technical
saying
point of
there,
view-
yeah. But what is she saying? What you understand her to be saying?
Well, she's saying that they must control, some element of control. But the point of it
But
I'm
she's-
making,
yeah.
that is entirely
No,
unnecessary.
but right. But yeah, quite possible. But what she's saying, once you pick up the box after these things are put on, make sure that the box reach the place correctly. And nobody, because remember in the olden days of the other people, PNC knows that quite well, that the box is divert, a new box come out, and I wrote a nice little piece and all of that. All she's saying,
And what was that?
the box
And
suddenly
what wrote a nice piece?
Roy, today in the paper.
No, but that's a historical fact. I mean,
so
it doesn't matter who
all,
said it.
wait, no, because I
No, I didn't hear- I didn't hear
I
it.
heard all this all about you, but what she's saying from what you are saying, is she saying follow this ballot box because we are afraid there are things, or she might have information and I don't have, that people going to want tamper with them up the road.
The
I don't understand.
Private Sector Commission
Yeah.
has come out, lots of people have come out and said, this is an incendiary statement. It has potential for violence, because if the opposing sides
Yeah.
were to engage in the same kind of
So-
activity, and you know, we said, okay, go home, change your clothes, bathe, and so on.
Yeah.
This has the making of intimidation as well, doesn't it?
I have no doubt about it. That you could, well, yes, you could be intimidated by what she's saying, but what I'm asking for some explanation of is, does she have the right to have people follow the box to go where it is going? Or are you saying that once GCOM take it, GCOM is the only person can take the box, and therefore she has no right to say that we suspect people would want to mess around with this situation? I think that we should have some more people following this box to see that it gets to its destination and properly locked up in where it was supposed to be locked up. Is that, I mean, I don't know. All I'm saying to you, I can see people can throw up their hands in horrors because that has problems too. The PVP might say so, and you have one ban over there, and all sort of trouble can happen. But are you saying to me, when you say she shouldn't do that?
I didn't say that.
No.
Oh.
What I'm saying, all right, no, there's a suggestion that she shouldn't be telling people for their own box. There's it, right?
No. I said that this here is of absolutely no consequence, because once the statements of polls have been posted
no,
up,
but
that's it.
But she thinks it's of consequence. And therefore
Now,
she has this right.
Are you
to go.
advocating an ANOG's position on Vola Lawrence's statement?
I am not. It is
No, I'm
irrelevant. I'm
asking you. No, I'm
I am
asking you.
advocating my position, and a position that I would advocate in Arab.
You're not uncomfortable with this
I'm
statement?
uncomfortable with this whole election, how it's going.
No. I'm asking you. No, please.
I'm not particularly.
You're not uncomfortable with it.
No,
That's
I'm not.
interesting.
I'm not
That's interesting. What about
uncomfortable
you?
with it.
About the statement?
Yes.
I think Valda should have, I don't think there was no need. That statement was unnecessary, right? I don't think she should have made that statement, I think, of course it would.
Why she shouldn't have made it?
Well, I don't know, when the ballot boxes leave, who's going to intercept the ballot boxes?
Well, there is the question.
Right? I mean,
That is the question.
those who are tasked with moving the ballot boxes, I think you must have some level of security there,
Yes, but
right?
But it's
So I don't know, while the ballot boxes are being moved, who's going to intercept the ballot boxes? I don't know, I'm just asking.
Exactly.
Doesn't it
Exactly.
suggest a lack of confidence by the chairperson of one of the leading parties, or governing parties, that GCOM is not competent?
Could be.
So, isn't that a suggestion from this?
Could be.
Well,
Yeah.
Advice?
Could be read that way.
You could read it that
Yeah.
way. Some people will read it that way. That GCOM is.
Good to see you all repeating each other now.
No, but if it is so, she still has the right, because plenty of people believe this election will be rigged. If you ask many people in this country, they rightly now believe so. How? Well, we don't know. I mean, but it will. And therefore,
that Exxon will determine the outcome.
Well, yes, that means that it will be rigged. So effectively,
Not necessarily.
obviously, how they will determine outcome?
Not
People
rigged.
vote to race here, so no, they can't buy no vote. So effectively, she has a right, I believe, to say whether or not she should have put it in what is already the stock election, PP stand-up election. You have to be there on time. You have to wake
But these
up.
are different-
You got what I'm saying to you. When you have a message and you're on that political platform, the way she put that message, she wants to urge her supporters not to keep their eyes on ballot boxes. And because no doubt she has information, she has a right to do so in my
You say
view.
no doubt. You're speculating, but yet you're saying no doubt.
But no, I'm saying.
How would you know that that there's no doubt?
What I'm saying,
How would you know there's no doubt?
I'm saying she has information.
No, you said no doubt.
No.
You just said no doubt
no.
for
I
your
didn't
words.
say no doubt in terms that she may not have information. I said she has information, no doubt, meaning that I'm saying to do this, she had to have some kind of information of some sort that they're going to be tampering at ballot boxes.
When the same chairperson said that when I think of giving jobs to people, I think of the PNC, and I'm looking for a PNC doctor. Putting those things in context, does it cause you or your party?
I don't know about my party, but I'm telling you, if you're in the I wrote against that. I wrote against what she said there. I said it's ridiculous, just from the point of political operations.
Okay, thank you very much, gentlemen. We have to close now. Sorry, Gerald, you don't get the last word. No,
You don't always have to have the last word.
Thank you very much. Operators and viewers, thank you. Good night. Next time we come here, it will be 32 days before elections. Until then.
Joie